Alright, hello everyone. So let's take a look at Friday. Now today is the 5th of December, right? And today is going to be a bit tricky. So be mindful. Alright, why? It's not just because of the news. If you take a look at the hours on Friday, okay, and if you take a look at my comments, you'll see as well that we've got a few slots there, okay, and the market is going to be making a surprise move. Okay, so I did make a comment at the end there. News might surprise the market. Okay, and it's going to give us a surprise move, and we're going to have sudden volatile moves today. Now with gold, we got Thursday, Friday. I like it because it closed blue. All right, it's bullish. So following that through is not a bad idea if it goes in our way. Now, as you can see, this is a bit tricky. Why? Because it's going sideways. All right, so, and we don't like to trade in between levels. This is where the market opened up. All right, so yesterday's closing open right back here. Now today's good hours, our setup hours, is there news, because it's supposed to be non-farm payroll today. So let's check that out as well. Rightio. Today, no, it's not. It's 6 o'clock. That's bizarre. What about next week? Are they going to give it next week? No. This week? Or did they do it last week? But that's weird. It's supposed to be the first Friday of the week. Okay. Fine. Maybe there is no non-farm payroll. I don't know. Okay, normally there's a non-farm payroll on the first Friday of the month. That's weird. Okay, never mind. In any case, if the news, this is according to my time zone, right? So that's 6 o'clock my time zone, but I would do a setup to trade at 3:15. All right, 3:15, 3:25. I like 3:25. Let's say 3:15 to 3:30. That zone I like. Okay, so it's nice with gold as well, because gold just had this little hour, 4:45, and I like this as well, 4:45 on the platform, because it's 5:45 my time. 6:35, which is 5:35 here, and I like this. You see how nicely this is? This I like. Okay, this I like. Following this through is okay, in fact. Why? Because we shouldn't see a change in the market until 3:15. So until 3:15, it's not gonna really change. It's not, you know what I mean? Okay, so this could actually push up nicely. Should I do something crazy, get in with a 1 bar stop loss? I think we can. Let's do that. Now, because it's in the mid-level, so I'm going to do something nice. I'm not going to enter with a big lot. Okay, so I'm just going to do 0.3. I'm going to buy that. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, why am I also not opening a big position? I will tell you why, because I've got this trade on here from yesterday. All right, remember, what a swing day on that one. Okay, market came to the downside, so I was in a trade on that one already. Okay, and this is a bit of a bugger, because it just, you know, it didn't hit my, it just bounced above that first take profit, which ticked me off a little bit, but it does happen. I can now actually move stops down, can't I? Just in case shit does hit the fan, because it's going to be a surprise day today. Like I said, you can expect some volatile moves today. Okay, and if you're going to expect those, just be mindful that things can happen and they can go pear-shaped. okay? So be mindful on that. With the euro dollar, now with the euro dollar, it was a swing day, so yesterday me selling was not a bad idea because it's a swing day. Now remember, we have this zone here, but there are no gaps here. This is all nice and, you know, done. The only thing that can bring us back is if the market wants to do a healthy retracement and push us back down into the 37.5 zone. And if that turns out to be on a swing day, great. And because euro dollar also has a Friday swing day, I'm thinking, okay, you know, this could go pear-shaped in both directions. So not taking a big risk, okay? And that's how it is. But it's got room to come down. And I've marked that zone, as you can see, 16.25. And I would have taken a nice profit here if it wasn't, if it didn't go, you know, if they should have taken that actually, what bastards. Anyway, never mind. We'll see how things pan out, but it should pop down afterwards, and we should kind of like get into this zone again. All right, this is why I've got the take profit there. Okay, so we'll see how that pans out and take it from there. And because today is going to be volatile, I'd be careful with what you're doing. Now, if you're living in the US, you're going to watch this video later, so then you should, okay, worry about your New York session hours accordingly. All right, there are a few slots in there. Okay, so, but I think it's going to be a good day to trade, because once we have direction, it should be pushy all the way into 22:26, 10:30 my time. We should have a zone by 9:30. Okay, so so by 9:30 you should be like, you know, your trade should be covered and you should be managing your trade, but it's got potential to move all the way into 10:30. Like I said, expect surprise moves. Okay, so if this goes to the downside, we can expect some moves to the downside, which is fine, which I can then, you know, next week, if we're down next week, we can go to the upside. If we're up and Friday closes to the upside, then we're going to have to be mindful, okay, because this is a strong trend, and I'd love to see it down so we can go up again. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Now with Bitcoin, what do I have with Bitcoin? We've got Friday or Saturday, and we had Wednesday. So that was a Wednesday, so Thursday sell-off is logical, okay? And I talked about this, so you should all be okay with that. And going further down, I think, is what we should be doing. All right, so Wednesday, so Thursday sell-off, Friday and moving into Saturday, I think it should be to the downside. All right, this is nice. It's an impulse wave, flag formation. Swing day was Friday, so Wednesday. So selling on a Thursday was okay. If it continues further into Friday and Saturday, which I suspect is what it should be doing, then, you know, we can still push it to the downside, okay, and see how things pan out. But this was a logical place for it to be bought, and we knew about it. So no dramas. Remember our green box, okay, and our swing days. So this is fine, but this is still a bearish formation. Selling back, pushing it down is okay. Now there are two exactly candles in here. In fact, three. Once, twice, three dips. Okay, so it's dipped in here 3 times already. And if the buyers can't push it up, this will break. Okay, but why? Because they've already been dipping in there, and you know, if it doesn't start making an uptrend, if it comes down here and doesn't push up and make a higher high, this will break. All right, so you have to be careful on this one. When it comes down, if you want to buy to go up, it's logical on a swing day. But since we're high on a swing day, and on Wednesday it closed high, so Thursday selling is okay. Friday, Saturday going down into that zone is also okay. And just, you know, just make sure you're going to sell at the right time and price. Okay, so your zone, okay, if you want to sell to the downside, it's logical. You can see they've closed low here yesterday. Okay, so it's like lower highs and lower lows on a smaller time frame after the Wednesday, Thursday sell-off at the trading hours in London and in New York. All right, so if you're sold to the downside, the trade should already be covered and in profit. All you have to do is wait. If you've got a position open, all you got to do is wait, or you just have to, go with it at the trading hours from a decent place to sell off. This might get stop swept, so if we end up back here at a trade hour and you want to sell, it's doable. Okay, and that's that. Let's take a look at the indices. Let's see how my MetaTrader 4 is holding out. Oh, gold, nice. See, that was like good to get in there. And I will actually, why didn't I? Okay, I'll do the trade management later on. Now this is NASDAQ. Okay, now look, with NASDAQ I had a sell trade, okay, and it's going pear-shaped. So this is not going as I want it to go because I was expecting it to go to the downside. Okay, market had a swing day on this one at Monday and Friday. All right, so this is NASDAQ. Let's check out Monday. As you can see, market dips down, goes to the upside. So this could turn pear-shaped and come all the way into here. All right, which, as you can see, I've drawn out before. So was that a silly move? It wasn't a greatly silly move. Okay, at the end of the day, I could have waited for New York to open up and traded that as well. So there's always something to learn, but I didn't take a big risk because me and indices, they just don't get along too well. Okay, so I don't take big risks on indices. I don't trade it like gold. With gold, like, I'm happy with gold. It's like right up my alley. Euro dollar too, sometimes I'm just like in there and I can flow with it. With indices, it's a bit of a drama. Okay, so this going to the upside is a no-no for me, but if I was to sell, I would leave it until New York, or I would leave it until New York or even Monday. All right, so got to leave it for New York. Okay, and New York, like I said, could be a good hour to could be good, really good to trade. Okay, the reason I liked this one, this setup here, was because it was a good setup. It was a good adjustment level. This zone is a good adjustment level, and selling here at the trade hours is not a bad idea, and this is exactly what I did. All right, right in there, and stop loss is just above there, so it's not a big risk. And then it can, if it goes in my favor, great. If it doesn't, like I said, I'm not taking a big risk on it. But if it goes in my favor, we should dip down. Okay, we should dip down. If it goes up into the trading hour here somewhere, you can sell off again or wait for Monday to sell. Okay, if it goes up on a Friday, does a high there, then Monday's okay to sell off. Okay, and that's how I would deal with that one. With Dow Jones, let's take a look at the Dow. Now this, remember, is what we talked about here, and Dow Jones has got a Monday, Friday. Okay, I like this. As you can see, the market is kind of closing low yesterday, so following this to the downside, I like. All right, Friday here. Okay, like I said, wait for New York as well. Those hours should be better off. On the weekly, it looks bloody bullish, doesn't it? It certainly does. Okay, but you can see on the monthly it's not clear at all, so we're gonna have to go with the daily, which is fine actually. With the swing days, I don't mind selling the highs if it's at a trading hour in that zone. All right, and I like this move here. Stop sweeping the high of a Wednesday. Okay, and then coming down, so I don't mind selling this off either. This is not a bad thing. Okay, if you want to sell, do it from the highs. Even from here, I think is okay. You can just put your stop loss above there, is also good. All right, I've got a few trades on, as you can see, with the euro, with the Nasdaq, and with gold now. So I'm not going to push my luck and open another one, but this is how it is. I think it's good to go down. And normally I don't trade on Fridays, but it's a good day to trade today. And if we get the direction right, it should give us a good hefty profit. Okay, now here we have SP 500. Okay, me and SP 500 just don't get along. We really don't. Okay, I get the swing days more often than not right. The hours are okay, but it's just like, yeah, my energy just doesn't go with the indices. So what to do with this one? Now with SP 500, we're the Thursday, right? And with the Dow and the Nasdaq, we've got a Friday. So Thursday, Friday, and this thing is pretty bullish, as you can see. Right? We're like kind of like going. Okay, so this thing still has got room to kind of push to the upside. Okay, but this is a huge sell-off. So one way or another, we're going to be selling somewhere, at least for a retracement. Okay, so selling from the highs of yesterday, not a bad idea. If you want to do that, it's got room to come down and close. I think it's okay to sell. Maybe in New York, you might do a stop sweep or something because you've got even highs here. Or in London, it could do that as well. And then, you know, like I said, selling is okay. You can cover that trade on the on this zone here, right? Or the closing of yesterday, or slightly there. It's about 6859. Let's say 6860. And then if it keeps pushing down, if that swing day pans out, Thursday, Friday, then we should at least have a bit of a push to the downside. All right, and that's basically how it is. Okay, but you can see it's bullish, but I still say we've got room to come down. So I'm going to expand these. On swing days from the high, I think it's worth selling. And if it works out, pullback is good to sell at the trade hour to push into these levels here as well. All right, so I hope that helps. Have a good weekend. All the best. And also, if you have any questions, queries, always drop a line. Okay, if you're confused about something, whatever, drop me a line, because some people are joining in, and because they're new, they may not be familiar with the format. Don't be shy. You know, you can always drop a line. Okay, let me know if you're having any problems, not understanding anything, and I'll help as best I can.